I Am PR Agency LLC is a vital resource for artists of all genres, labels and brands globally who need a solution to secure the most amount of impressions on all media platforms, TV, online, print, radio, at the most affordable rate. I Am PR Agency not only consults and teaches clients on how to develop, market and monetize their brand, we also provide one of the most important metrics in marketing: reach and awareness. That data is calculated from accumulated reach generated from Twitter reach, Facebook engagement, and email marketing stats. It is through those platforms public become fans of your brand over time and get to know you. You're determined by the level of your impressions. It is key to monitor that data because it measures the growth of your brand throughout the lifetime of the campaign. The main appeal of I Am PR Agency is its reporting component. We invented a reporting system that proves return on investment through PR, which is something that no other music PR has. The average publicist simply compares PR versus advertising. I Am PR Agency, on the other hand, compares all of your impressions, all of your press placements, and all the relationships that are being built on your behalf into a reporting model where you can clearly see week after week whether or not you are making progress. Visit our website, www.impragency.com, or give us a call today at 770-635-7214 to get a free consultation on how I Am PR Agency is the key to your success.
Hey everybody, how's it going? This is David from I Am PR Agency, VP Dave, and today we're talking about why content is king. So it's very important for everyone, especially our clients, to understand, especially when we're calling to get content from you guys. You have to understand that anything can be content. It doesn't matter what it is, but I'm going to explain why content is king. Content, regardless of what it is, whether it's, I'm waiting for this blog page to load here, but regardless of whether the content you feel is newsworthy or not, it's not necessarily about whether it's newsworthy or not. It's about just explaining to people and showing people who you are, what you are about, and how you're going to go about, communicating that is also key. So a blog page on a website is very important simply because that is one of the things that captures a lot of attention on a blog. That also keeps people on the website for much longer periods of time. And if you guys want to know more about time on site and, all the other hits and things like that, then you can look at our other webinars about Google Analytics to get some background on that. But one thing that we try to do here at IMPR is to drive a lot of traffic to our website by using blog posts and press releases. So every time we post a press release, every time we post something about a client, every time we do a blog post where we talk about music we've discovered, all of that goes to our blog, all of that goes to our Facebook. And one thing that we've realized over the years is that the more posts that we post per day, the more traffic per post we get, therefore the more overall traffic we get on our website. So for example, if you look at, how many posts we do, I would say on average, we're doing about 20 or so posts per day. And me personally, I feel like that's kind of low for what I would like to do. I would ideally like to do like 100 posts a day, knowing what I know. But each one of these posts brings between 20 and 100 unique visitors and, 100 to 500 page views. So with all that being said, that's blogs, that's fans of IMPR, that's other artists, that's labels, all that traffic coming to our site, all that traffic coalescing on our site, going through our site, then goes through the funnel that we then talked about, that we've set up on our website. And once again, you can go to the webinars about Google Analytics to talk about that if you want to learn more about that. But long story short, what you want to focus on is creating content. So one thing that we're always trying to tell our clients is it doesn't really matter what the content is. It doesn't really matter what you're talking about. For example, before me and Olivia had monetized IMPR, we were writing press releases about literally anything that, we did, whether it was, going to an event or walking a red carpet or meeting somebody, or, it didn't matter what it was. We just made sure that we constantly kept the press informed on a regular and consistent basis of our actions. And through that alone, we started getting our first few paying clients. So the power of driving traffic to your site is that what you're generating is impressions. And a lot of you see that on your reports that you get every week. But impressions are very important, because the more impressions you accumulate over time, and the more engagement is people interacting with the content. That's like a like, a comment, a share, a click, a view, and an impression is how many times people have seen something. So for example, you might have 1,000 blogs that gave you 10,000 impressions. That means that 1,000 blogs have seen your news 10 different times. The more impressions you make on the press and the general public, the more trust you end up building. And the more trust you end up building, the more dollars you're able to source from people, because, it's literally like a mathematical formula. The more impressions on top equals the more dollars on the bottom, because it's like a funnel. So once you understand that funnel, and once you understand that, the content that you're producing will drive the traffic to your website and to your funnel, then all you need to do now is understand which type of content works best for the market that you're trying to connect with. So for example, since we're trying to connect with unsigned artists and we're trying to connect with labels and bloggers, we've created the IMPR approved on top of client news, client press releases, client placements, all that kind of stuff. And we also make sure to do our research on keywords and key phrases, negative match, positive match phrases, to make sure that when we're tagging and the SEO is on point for each of these posts, so that they can be easily found on Google, and they can also be easily picked up in searches. We bring the relevant traffic to our website, and then through that and then by bringing that relative traffic to our website, we're able to either capture more sales or capture press placements. It might make a press person interested to see a client page or so on and so forth, or a client placement and things like that. So another thing we wanted to talk about is another piece of content, which is the client page. And the client page is basically an online EPK that is always on the website, always updated. So for example, this is a new client, Midnight Mob, and we have their image slider where you can see all of the band's images. You can see their bio right here, their notable accomplishments. You can see a nice, pretty cool gallery of images that makes the band look really awesome. We got music, we got SoundClouds, we got music videos, and this is also another key piece of content, as well as social media following here. This is another key piece of content, because having static pages like this with all of your information put in a very nice format will basically encourage returning visitors to return back and continuously see if the page has been updated. It's always good to continuously update these pages. So for example, whenever Midnight Mob gets a placement, they will be updated with the placements and the reviews and the album reviews and all the kind of things that we've gotten for them over time. And that will keep the press coming back, and that will keep everyone coming back to the website, which is what you want. So as far as ideas for content, one thing that I used to do when I was an artist that worked very well, and the great thing about music is that, if you have a home DAW setup, digital audio workstation, you can literally create a never-ending stream of product to use to market yourself in order to sell other services. So, for example, when I was an artist, I used to focus on creating a new freestyle every day of whatever popular song was out at the time. So, for example, if Fabolous dropped a pretty cool song and I liked it, I would redo the song in my own style and present it to my fans. And then I would do that enough times. And then when I was ready to sell my own original record, it got a lot more hits, a lot more traffic, a lot more visibility than it would have had I had just dropped that original song and just left it at that. So the process was more like, okay, I wasn't too concerned with how many hits I was getting originally. I was just concerned with making sure that people saw it. So one of the first tracks that I dropped, I think I remixed a Drake song. And then what ended up happening was it got like 100 hits, which is nothing, you know? And then the next song also got 100 hits. But what ended up happening is the song that I dropped the week before ended up getting 150 hits now. And then I dropped another song, and then that song got 200 hits, and the other songs grew as well in comparison. So one thing I started to realize is when I started publishing more content, I was actually creating a catalog, and I was creating a streaming system where I would continuously bring back the same users and expose them not only to a new song, but then I was also re-exposing them to older songs. And what I eventually ended up doing was getting people used to my sound and my style. And once I got people used to my sound and my style and I dropped my original project, I was able to sell 10,000 copies of that project just through that method alone. We also experimented with this with our former client, Deja Bryson. For, I think, 3 to 4 months, we had her release what we call the Monday Love Drops. And once a week, she would drop her Monday Love Drops. And what ended up happening with the Monday Love Drops is that the first one, like we said, got like 50 hits. The second one got 100, but then the first one got 75. And, you know, it started compounding on itself week over week over week. And I would say after about 3 months of her doing that consistently and us promoting it consistently on the Mondays, she started getting a lot of press. A lot of blogs started hitting us back saying, oh my God, I love her Monday Love Drops. These are so amazing. Her buzz started building very fast. Her plays, I think she started getting to a point where she was getting 500 to 1,000 plays per record per week now. We also did the same thing with a client named Stone Wallace, same situation, except for him, he was getting several thousand views. We've done this method with a former client named Torres, and he was getting several thousand views. But the method is all the same regardless of how many views you're getting per record. It all adds up to, essentially adds up to, you know, a compounding structure of hits, impressions, and engagement, and it creates trust on a long-term scale. So let me check and see if there are any questions. All right, so with that being said, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're driving that traffic to a website that you can either track analytics on or your own website platform that you can track analytics on. So one thing you don't want to do is just say, hey, check me out on YouTube, check me out on Facebook. You know, that's giving a lot of that traffic away. You're already putting your content up there. YouTube, Facebook, they're already using your content to get other people to sign up to their services. That's their business model. So you want to focus on not just driving that traffic around YouTube, because the problem with YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or, you know, having people consume your content on outside platforms is that when they're done consuming that one piece of content, they're just going to go back to browsing Facebook. Or, you know, if the content is great, they might browse your channel and then go back to browsing YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or whatever social media you're using. the key is to use those social medias to communicate your marketing model, but have that content driven back to your website where people can consume it on your website. So for example, even with these webinars, even if they might be on YouTube, we don't do any kind of YouTube promotions whatsoever. We actually put it out on our website through our other social media, but we do not embed it on any social media. We embed it on our website, and we just promote a link that goes directly to that content. That way that if any views come to this video, I'll know exactly where those views came from, how long, and you know, with the YouTube analytics, I'll know things like when they dropped off the video and how long they watched the video, and I can gauge the interest level. But I'll have more important information of how many people specifically went to that page, from which specific referrer, and how long they stayed on that particular page, because they're coming directly to the IMPR agency platform. So with all that being said, you know, it's very important to publish a large amount of content on a regular basis. And that's something that IMPR helps with. We do that, you know, for the client. So when our staff is calling or I'm calling and we're saying, hey, you know, do you have anything to promote? Just tell me what's going on with your life. Because, you know, moving on to the next topic, everything can be promoted. This is the internet. This is the age of the ever-evolving story, the journey. Stories, life is not just, I'm here, I made it, I'm born, I'm old, I die. You know, that's how a lot of people like to promote their products. Coming out of nowhere saying, hey, I'm here, here's my product, everyone like it, everyone view it. That doesn't work. That might have worked in the 90s because people had millions and millions of dollars to throw into marketing and promotion to promote one thing. That's not going to work anymore, especially because in the music business, the margins are so low. You could sell 1 million records, you know, and that doesn't do anything for anybody because that's only $1 million. Whereas in the 90s, that was like $20 or $30 million, you know? So the margins were much higher. So with that being said, it's very important to promote in the way that life is, in cycles. Promote the journey. Life is a journey. Life is a series of events, one after the other. And if you promote yourself this as such, and that's the IMPR agency method, is to promote a series of events, one after the other, an ongoing, constantly evolving story. And if you can do that, you know, and you can stay consistent doing that in this constant, evolving, ongoing story, you can keep that consistent over long periods of time. What's going to end up happening is people are going to get wrapped and enveloped into your story, into your life. It's almost like a reality show. That's the reason why reality shows are so popular, is because you're just filming life. Even if it is staged, you know, we all know it's staged, but the point is, you know, it's filmed in that style. It's filmed in the style of an ongoing, evolving story. Or soap operas. The reason why soap operas are so popular is because it's the same thing. It's an ongoing, evolving story. Or graphic novels or Japanese manga, same thing. Ongoing, evolving stories over long periods of time. So that same method, you have to use that in your marketing, because there's just too much going on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. There's just way too much noise. And the only way that you guys are going to ever cut through the noise is to get in the mindset that your life is your marketing. Your music is your marketing. You're not going to sell music. I mean, if you do, that's great, but your profit's not going to come from that. Your profit is going to come from appearances, products, shows, endorsements, other things related to the fan base that you're developing. So in order to develop that fan base, you need to cut through the noise, and you need to cut through all the chatter and the BS. And the only way to cut through all that chatter and BS is to tell your story over long periods of time to large amounts of people. And that's what IMPR does. That's included in all the packages. So all you guys got to do is just, you know, promote, give us stuff, you know, tell us what's going on. It doesn't matter if you're in the studio. It doesn't matter if you're in, you know, if you're working on a record and you don't have anything. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. What matters is that send us a snippet of what you're recording. Let your fans in on the recording process. Let the people in on the production process. If you're working on making beats, maybe you should stream a beat making session. If you're in the studio, maybe you should do something on Facebook where you ask your friends, hey, here's a snippet of our record. What instrument or how should we do this bridge? You know, that's something that we can promote. We could put that information out there. That's the kind of thing that we've noticed constantly and consistently gets pressed over long periods of time. Anyone who doesn't do that usually does not succeed with the IMPR model, and usually quits music 6 months after leaving our situation. We've seen it over the last 5 years, that over the last 5 years, people who were opposed to our model, or people who were opposed to the things that, to this whole methodology of promoting your life and your journey and using that as your marketing, they usually ended up paying people like World Star, Coast to Coast to get them 1 or 2 quick things and then wonder why they never blow up, because there is no shortcut to fame here. There is no shortcut to this. This is the model. That's why bloggers are the new journalists. That's the reason why most of these YouTube guys are making millions of dollars on, from advertising revenue and endorsements, because this is the model. This is the new model. The model is publishing information, tagging it and using it, tagging it correctly so that people who are already searching for what it is that you are selling. That's the craziest thing about it. Whatever it is that you do, if you do pop, country, merengue, you know, there's someone out there in the world searching for it on Google right now. I'm pretty sure if I was to type in pop merengue band in Google right now, I'm pretty sure it would show up as a search term, you know? So let's see. Pop merengue. Yep, there it is. Pop merengue songs right there. You know, I could probably talk pop polka song right there. You know, I mean, it's you know, anything in the world. I mean, the internet has connected the entire world together. And the only way that people are going to find you is, and Google even says this in all of its, you know, documentation about how to optimize your site and your posts for search. Google, Bing, Yandex, all the Yahoo, all the major search engines do this. And they always tell you sites that rank highly are sites that do 2 things. Number 1, drive a certain type of traffic, certain type of niche traffic to certain type of posts, and blogs that are highly active and productive at posting. So for example, if you're posting 10, 20, 30 posts a day, you will be topping Google for whatever your niche is if you're a pop polka singer. If you're posting a lot of music on SoundCloud and you're posting a lot of stuff out there and you're not spamming people, but you're just posting it, you're tagging it right, you're promoting it to your base, and you're engaging your base on a day-to-day level, you will build that fan base over time. There is no shortcut for this. You cannot pay some radio promoter to get you popping on the radio, and that's another thing. The radio is not going to get you guys popping. TV's not going to get you guys popping. Those are outdated mediums. You got to stop paying people to do that stuff. You're just wasting your money. Rule number 1, iHeartRadio, which used to be Clear Channel, owns all the radio stations. That's a fact, in America at least. I don't know about Europe. Maybe Europe as well. I know BBC, you know, has a monopoly over there for radio 1, 2, and 3. But long story short, and 1 extra and so on and so forth. But the point is that if you want to get on the radio and you're not already having millions and millions of streams and people demanding your record, you have to pay for what they call is a on the verge or upcoming artist package sponsorship thing. It's basically legalized payola. That's what it is. And what it is they will put your song in the program director's playlist for songs to play. And what they will do is they will introduce you as, you know, a new hot artist coming up on the scene. You know, they'll introduce it as if, you know, they discovered you. But the reality of the situation is you paid $5,000 per radio station to do it. Same thing with Spotify. You put your music up on Spotify, unless you just have a huge fan base that's just demanding to hear your music on Spotify already, which you can get if you use the model that we explained previously. You will also have to pay $5,000 per market to have advertising at Spotify. That basically means a market is Atlanta, Augusta, Athens, New York City, New York State, you know, so on and so forth. If you want to do a college radio campaign, you're going to have to hire a college radio promoter who will promote you to, you know, several hundred college radio stations. But the problem with college radio stations is that those DJs are not all the way reliable. So you'll pay a college radio promoter up front, maybe 2, 3, 5, 6, 10 grand. They might reach out for a period of 6 to 8 weeks, and then after that, you're done. You know, you're not on the radio anymore. You know, we did that. We put in $2,000 for a project that Olivia and I were funding, and I think at the end of that year, we only received about $500 in radio royalties. So that's a negative. You know, if we do the math on that, let's do the math on that. If we do the math on that, that's you know, 500 divided by 2,000, that's a negative, you know, 75% return right there. So with that being said, you know, just to do the math correctly, since we're recording, you know, that's like 4 times, you know, we spent 4 times what we made, and that was it, you know. So radio's not a good investment because you can't track it. You don't know when people are listening. You know, you don't know the exact moment people are listening. It's a very old, expensive, outdated model. Now, TV works if you want to get famous, but it's not good for getting paid. So, for example, we've had many clients on TV. Me and Olivia have been on TV ourselves many times. And the only thing that we've ever got from it is, oh, my God, you're on TV. You know, it doesn't net any more sales. It doesn't create it creates awareness, but it doesn't create sales. That's pretty much the best way to do it. Like, for example, we got Master Ace on 106 and Park a bunch of times. You know, I've been on BET a bunch of times myself. I've been on MTV, VH1, VH1 Soul, MTVU. You know, we've been on a lot of TV stations. And the point to say is that after all that was said and done, you know, while being on TV, the only thing that we got from that after, you know, trying to go out and capture sales from that is simply just, oh, it was cool that you're on TV, but that was it. You know, it didn't net anything, mainly because I didn't have any data that and like I said, we're living in the information age. So yes, if this was the 90s and I was on TV, then yeah, I'd be super famous right now, because it was really hard to get on TV in the 90s. But right now, it's very easy to get on TV. Anybody can get on TV. All you got to do is just do something stupid, shoot a cool video and submit it somewhere, or, you know, it's really easy to get on TV right now. So that's not really an avenue. But TV, the same as radio, these are outdated mediums because they don't provide any data. They don't provide any analytics. Nothing is in real time. So even if I'm on television, I didn't even know when my video was on TV. I didn't know when my interview would show up. I didn't even have cable. So I never even seen myself on TV, you know? So with that being said, you know, MTV never sent me any reports. You know, they never sent me any reports of how many people were watching at any given time, how many people switched off at a certain time. And that's why I love the internet, because internet's all about information. And if it wasn't for the information that I got from the INPR website, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all this information that I'm getting, I wouldn't have been able to make deals with the brands that we were able to make deals with, like 8-9 Clothing, Karmaloop TV, Frank 151, Webster Hall, Studio Webster Hall, Bowery Ballroom, Creative Loafing. You know, we wouldn't have been able to do a lot of these things if I couldn't walk up in someone's office of an executive that makes 100 times more than I do and tell him, listen, you need to give me money and you need to give me this and that because of X, Y, and Z, because I have shown numerically that I can pull X, Y, and Z numbers from X, Y, and Z referral sources and so on and so forth. And the only way that I was able to even get that data was by posting and promoting content. So you kind of see how it all comes together. So with that being said, it doesn't matter what the content is. Find something to talk about, create things, get very creative. You don't need to spend a lot of money building a base. All you need to do is just hire IMPR to have us promote the content, help you create and promote the content that you are working on. And that's all it is. You know, so for example, I'll give you guys another example. If you're a pop polka singer, for example, I would just create mixes every week. You know, that's something that I would do. I would just create a really cool pop polka 55-minute mix. Actually, perfect example. There's already sites that do that. EDM.com does that, actually. They're very good at this. I log on to their channel almost daily, because almost daily they put out really cool playlists all the time. You know, this is all they do. They just put out dope music that you could just listen to for free. There's no catch. There's no catch-22 here. All they're doing is just getting so much traffic because, and I'll even show you guys some of my favorite playlists. Like my favorite playlist is, let's see, best of 20. Actually, here it is. Let's see, what were the best of 2014? I just saw that. Hold on a second. Well, long story short, the Epic. Let's see. It might not be here. Anyway, it's on their SoundCloud, so you can check it out. But one of their things that they do is they give out free music, which then drives you to their website, which then drives you to the store. And then what do you end up buying? You're not buying music, you're buying t-shirts, bracelets, sweatshirts, eyewear, headwear, accessories, and music. If you want to buy it, sure. But music is marketing. That's the name of the game. Music is marketing. Blogging is marketing. Talking about your passion on the internet is marketing. You just got to get disciplined, talk about it on a more regular basis, get more creative, create more content for the niche that you were trying to market to consume, and they will buy other things from you. And it's just that simple. So there it is. We're a little bit over our time. Started getting into it. I'm going to leave you guys with the IMPR service video again, and have a good day.
IMPR Agency LLC is a vital resource for artists of all genres, labels and brands globally who need a solution to secure the most amount of impressions on all media platforms, TV, online, print, radio, at the most affordable rates. IMPR Agency not only consults and teaches clients on how to develop, market and monetize their brand, we also provide one of the most important metrics in marketing: reach and awareness. That data is calculated from accumulated reach generated from Twitter reach, Facebook engagement, and email marketing stats. It is through those platforms that the press and general public become fans of your brand over time and get to know you. Your fame score is determined by the level of your impressions. It is key to monitor that data because it measures the growth of your brand throughout the lifetime of the campaign. The main appeal of IMPR Agency is its reporting component. We invented a reporting system that proves return on investment through PR, which is something that no other music PR has. The average publicist simply compares PR versus advertising. IMPR Agency, on the other hand, compares all of your impressions, all of your press placements, and all the relationships that are being built on your behalf into a reporting model where you can clearly see week after week whether or not you are making progress. Visit our website, www.impragency.com, or give us a call today at 770-635-7214 to get a free consultation on how IMPR Agency is the key to your success.